Things are going from bad to worse for the Maple Leafs as the concernometer continues to grow. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Thank you for making us your daily listen, and thank you for making the Locked On Network the #1 sports network in North America. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Dave, things are going from bad to worse here in Toronto. That's now 3 straight losses in regulation, 2 of them coming against what I thought was a rebuilding Boston Bruins team. And after 2 brutal games and being called out by the coach, the team, the players, the fan base, the media, they went out and laid another stinker against the Boston Bruins. Where's your concernometer at? Because mine's pretty high, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's high just because, again, it's the same issues that keep coming up again and again, right? It'd be different if, you saw a little tangible improvement in terms of the areas that they need to work on. We're not seeing that. They're still giving up breakaways at a regular basis. They're still turning the puck over at a high rate. They're still doing those things that frankly have been a concern for majority of the season, and we're not seeing any tangible changes. And last night, that first period was just a team that I don't know if they're coming into the game timid, nervous, not confident. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of inexcusable how they've been coming out to start.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you give up a goal early and then, okay, you get it back, you score shorthanded, which is different and new. And maybe it's like, oh, okay, maybe there's something different here. And then, no, then you start giving up all these breakaways left, right, and center. You start taking all these nonsense, stupid penalties, and you're leaving your goalie out to dry. You're leaving David Pastrnak alone to go in on a breakaway. I just don't know. I'm starting to wonder if this team, they continue to come out and say like, oh, we got to work harder. We got to be, more engaged. We got to stop turning the puck over. So this is a team that knows what they have to do. They just have not been able to do it. And it's getting to a point now where we're 3 games into this and they continue to come out and say the right things, but do the wrong things. And it makes me wonder if they're capable of doing it. And that's why my concernometer is getting pretty high. And now you've got a couple of big injuries. You've got Auston Matthews, who's out, and we don't know the extent of that injury quite yet, a lower body injury. He left early in the second period, did not return. Anthony Stolarz didn't return to the game either after leaving the game after the first period. Dennis Hildeby had to come in and finish things up in the last couple periods there. So that injury, too, is kind of a head scratcher now that Caden Primo was placed on waivers and claimed by the Hurricanes. Joseph Woll, okay, he's back on his conditioning stint, but not quite ready to play. So now you might not even have Anthony Stolarz ready to go. And now Dennis Hildeby might be your #1 goalie going forward for a little bit, depending on what's going on with Stolarz. It just seems like it's not. The Leafs aren't in a good spot. Overall, they're just not in a good spot at all.
No, it's like when it's rain, it pours with this team.
Yeah,
that's the part that's killing me right now. Is that it'd be one thing if, once in a while, these issues come up, but the fact that it's consistently happening. I don't know. It gets to the point where they tried changing the lines, right? That hasn't worked. The blue line, they got injuries. They can't really swap out too many players, right?
Yeah.
Now, I do think, like, you look at the Bruins. The Bruins I think, are kind of a decent template to look at and say, you look at the players that are stepping up for them. Like, they're not big names. No, other than Pasternak and McAvoy and Lindholm, like those okay. But like, you look at when you see like what Alex Steves,
Yeah.
clearly a motivated player there, right? Maybe the Leafs have to. We've constantly said, do they need to start benching players? Maybe you need to be looking at certain players that are just not playing to their potential, and you've got a bit of roster flexibility where you can throw in a couple of different players in the lineup, right? Send some players down to the Marlies. Like, if you were to put Philip Myers on waivers today, what are the chances that he gets claimed?
Probably pretty low.
Right? And I have a lot of people saying, well, why can't they get a guy like William Villeneuve up here? Why can't somebody else from the Marlies come up?
Yeah. Will
Right?
Villeneuve, Henry Thrun, who, came in the Ryan Reeves trade, but he's played a couple years in the NHL. Like, he's an option for sure. Like, technically, Matt Benning is still part of this organization. He's been an NHLer. Noah Chadwick is playing down in the AHL. You want to give him a shot, possibly? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there are options. Whether or not they're ready, I guess that remains to be seen. But like, even up front, like you talk about Alex Steves, like he's someone last year who didn't really get much of a sniff with the Maple Leafs. It's a reason why he decided to leave Toronto, wasn't given that opportunity. And lo and behold, he gets the revenge goal against the Leafs. I think we alluded to that probably happening and maybe placed an anytime goal bet on him. And he ends up scoring. It was an ugly goal that for sure, you want back if you're Anthony Stolarz. But I'm looking at a guy like Jacob Quillen. I mean, why not see what Jacob Quillen could do? He impressed in camp. Bring him into the mix. Maybe he'll give you a little bit more effort, getting that shot in the NHL. Maybe he can give them a little jolt, a shot in the arm. There's a couple players that I'm looking at squarely where I'm just like, I need more from you. And like Dakota Joshua is one. Like I need to see more from Dakota Joshua. I'm very surprised because I liked the move when they made it. I liked what he did, a couple of years in Vancouver before, obviously, the unfortunate, situation where he had to miss half of last year, with his testicular cancer. But he has not been, even a fraction of the player that he was that season in Vancouver when he earned that $3 million contract. He is not the guy who's really gone out there, and he's not been a physical force. He's not driving to the net. He's not showing any of that, physicality a whole lot. Last night, okay, there was some words that were being exchanged on the benches, but realistically, I'm not seeing anything between the whistles out of Dakota Joshua. And we're talking about maybe sitting guys and giving dudes a couple nights off and maybe giving others an opportunity. That might be where I'd start if I'm Berube, and maybe that lights a fire up his ass or something, because I'm seeing really like nothing out of him so far.
The one especially, it was late in the third, all that skirmish stuff is happening, and I don't know who he's chirping at on the bench.
Right.
And I'm like, buddy, you're 6'3", over close to 220. Don't be talking. Action. Like Max Domi, he's 5'0", going up against challenging Nikita Zadorov.
Mm-hmm.
Max Domi shouldn't be the one going after Nikita Zadorov. It should be Dakota Joshua is at least closer in stature than a Max Domi. I mean, I understand Zadorov. There's not many guys that can match his frame, his size, but Bob McMahon at least went up to do something about it, right? Like that's the part there where it's like, if the goal, there was one of the goals he's on the penalty kill for, and he's just kind of just leisurely going for a skate, and it's like, if that's the effort you're going to give on the penalty kill, you're going to lose your time in the lineup, because you're not doing many other things, I do think that I agree. There are players where you got to start sending messages and saying, okay, you're gonna be sitting in the press box, right? Because what you're doing isn't good enough. And yeah, he's definitely one for sure. At one point, I was going to say Steven Lorentz, but he actually did do something last night, and he scored that goal shorthanded. I don't think Steven Lorentz, like a lot of people, I saw somebody complaining about the Steven Lorentz deal, and I'm like, that deal is like the least of the least problems right now.
Yeah,
right.
That's not a deal I'd be concerning myself with.
No.
But that one, the Michelli deal, like it's just nothing that they've done over the offseason has really worked out, which is so unfortunate. Outside of, I guess, the Nyes and Tavares re-signs, but the guys who they've brought in, they just haven't worked out. You know, even like Nicolas Waugh, like there's been a couple flashes, I guess. Like he had that one opportunity last night where he got that kind of, you know, backhand shot off and made a nice play, but like he has not really been that difference maker, 200-foot player that I think we expected to see, right? It's not like he's someone who's, you know, putting up many points right now, and that penalty kill is not really doing well. Like they gave up a couple goals again last night. So that's kind of the thing that's frustrating about this, I think, start to the season is there was some expectation that this team is going to play different, look different, be different, and maybe different could be better. But it looks like different is worse. And that's kind of where I think the concern really stems from. It's like you lost a 100-point Selke candidate, right? Like you lost Mitch Marner. And that was a big part of your team, not only at 5-on-5, but on the power play and on the penalty kill. And the Maple Leafs are struggling, not at offense at 5-on-5, more so defensively, I would say, which again, Marner, big part of that, huge part of you know, defending and getting the puck out. So you're struggling defensively at 5-on-5. You're struggling on the power play. You're struggling on the penalty kill. Like just they have not found a way to replace that at all, and it's a big hole. It's a big hole, and it's being exposed seemingly every single night. And Boston exposed it in a big way. But to come out so flat is still very perplexing to me, considering how the last couple games went. And you know what we heard from the team, the verbiage from the team coming out of those games, like got to be better, got to compete. Our compete level has to be higher. How it isn't high right from puck drop is beyond me. Just a bad game, bad start. You know, like did they kind of settle into the game a little bit? Sure, I suppose, but. You know, when you're down, was it 3-1 after the first period? You know, it's tough to claw back at that point. So that's where the Maple Leafs found themselves. They lose the game 5-3. Let's take a break, come back, get to the good, the bad, the ugly, dive a little bit more into the game, get an update on the injuries to Auston Matthews and Anthony Stolarz. And yeah, so we'll get to that all next here on the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by DripDrop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, my energy, my mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using DripDrop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. DripDrop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top colleges and pro teams. I like using DripDrop as part of my daily routine. I'll mix in a packet in the morning before I leave for work or during that midday slump, and actually tastes amazing. Hydration has become a non-negotiable for me. DripDrop helps me feel sharper, calmer, and honestly, just better overall. Right now, DripDrop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to DripDrop.com and use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. That's DripDrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at their best with DripDrop.
Today's show is also brought to you by DUER. I'm so excited to get the new jeans that I've been hearing so much about, and there should be coming soon. And honestly, there's many reasons to be excited about what DUER has to offer. DUER jeans have 5 times the stretch of traditional jeans. They're antibacterial, meaning your jeans stay fresh longer so you can wear them more and more and wash them less. And they're made with cool mats that regulate your body temperature and wicks moisture. It keeps you cool and comfortable as temperature change. DUER jeans feel stretchy without looking stretchy. And the last thing you want to see is jeans that look tired, and they also don't have that comfort. DUER combines classic jean wear style with the kind of comfort and performance you get from athletic wear. It's the best of both worlds. And they're designed to look great and stay comfortable all day, no matter what you're doing. DUER are pioneers of blending technical innovation with everyday clothing. They invented the original performance denim. Simply put, DUER makes the world's most comfortable pants without having to sacrifice style. Trust me, once you try these, you'll be your go-to. And you can check out DUER here in Toronto. It's at 44 Ossington Avenue, so you can pick up a pair for yourself or as an amazing holiday gift. Mention our promo code LOCKEDONTORONTO in store to get 15% off your first order, or check them out online at DUER.ca/LockedOnToronto for 15% off. That's DUER.ca/LockedOnToronto.
Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, David Morassutti with you, as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, with brand new episodes of the Locked On Leafs podcast. So you can watch and listen wherever you get a podcast, even up on YouTube. Maple Leafs coming off a 5-3 loss to the Boston Bruins. It's now 3 straight losses in regulation. The concern meter is definitely high, Dave. Definitely high after this past calendar week, let's call it. Bad, tough weekend. And then even the game on Tuesday did not go very well. Let's get to the good, the bad, the ugly, and dive into the game a little bit more. Was there something that you enjoyed? Was something that was good, Dave? Can you point to something that was good about last night?
I still kind of like what I'm seeing from Bob McMahon.
Yeah.
I think he continues to do the smart things and the little things, like that goal. Get yourself in a good position, get yourself behind the defense. Max Domi with a nice play there. I thought that was good. Other than that, I mean, OEL. I think OEL continues. I know the blue line's been a tire fire, but he's consistently been the leader and consistently not bad, I guess, on that blue line. Again, just doing simple things. Put the puck on net with a little traffic. Goalie can't see it. It goes in the net, right? It's just those. I don't know how you have a guy like OEL doing these things right, and the rest of the blue line just doesn't seem to follow that lead.
Yeah, I know, man. It's perplexing to me as well. Definitely perplexing to me as well. I agree, though. I think Bobby McMahon. He was kind of I don't want to call him a lone bright spot, but he's someone just plain simple, right? Go to the net, right? I mean, like the second unit gets an opportunity after the first power. Because I think I texted you actually, and I was like, dude, they can't even get into the zone. They can't break the zone at a 5-on-3, the top power play unit. So they make the change, they make the switch, and then it's a 5-on-4. And then Bob McMahon goes to the net and he ends up scoring. And it's like, all right, there we go. Got some life, get a power play goal. But they weren't really able to capitalize after that point. He showed a little bit more pushback as well. So I'm with you on Bobby McMahon. And Max Domi for having a backbone. Good on Max Domi to stick up for his teammates. Obviously, Nick Robertson gets run by Zadorov in game 1 on Saturday. Bob McMahon showed up and fought for him, showed up for his teammate, and then Max Domi shows up and fights Zadorov for Auston Matthews because of the hit from behind on Matthews, which we'll get to in a moment. So a decent little backbone, I suppose, but got to see more. Got to see more guys stepping up. We talked about Joshua being one of those dudes, and now there's injuries. There's injuries to this team, and it's starting to really pile up. But someone's got to step up, dude. Someone has to step up and kind of lead the charge. And I felt in the third period, I thought Willie did step up a little bit and start making some plays. It seemed like he started to really put a little bit more effort in when he had the puck, started to drive play, drop the knee, take it to the net type of thing. So I will say I thought Willie's play in the third period seemed like a guy who honestly was kind of pissed off and was like, man, all right, I got to do something here because without Auston, Mitch is long gone, I got to figure something out. And it seemed like maybe there was a little bit of an uptick in his game in the third period, but not enough.
Need it right away though. That's the thing. You can't ease into the game anymore. You're like how many times have the Leafs been trailing in a game? you look at the Discord, it's like, oh, it's gonna be another one of those nights. It's like it's becoming way too common to hear those phrases because guys are not stepping in right off the hop and setting the tone. The Leafs have not. That's the other thing too, is that the Leafs game isn't prevalent on trailing.
No.
They want to get the lead and control things, and when you're not doing that, that's not going to work really well for you.
Yeah, and funny enough, I think I saw they said on the broadcast that they're third in comeback wins or something like that this year. So like they've been able to do that a little bit, but the way that Berube's system works is that's not the preferred method of winning, right? The preferred method is to go into the third period up 3-1 and defend your lead as opposed to down 3-1 and have to come back, because that's when you start to cheap that offense and you leave yourself vulnerable in the defensive end, and all of a sudden goes from 3-1 to 5-1. You know, so that's the problem that we have here today. All right, the bad, Dave. The bad. What was bad for you?
Bad. I mean, just the way that the defensive coverage. The guys are standing still, and too many times when you're not skating, you're putting yourself out of position. Players are able to get behind you. Like when people say how are they allowing so many breakaways? Oh yeah, it's very easy that when one player's moving, the other player's standing still, he can get behind. Like the Pasternak one, prime example. You have numbers. You have two defensemen there. And Morgan Rielly was the one that was guilty on the Pasternak one, where it's like, oh, shoot, let me reach out and try to get the puck. And Pasternak gets behind me. Skate. Sorry, I just got vibrate there. But skate. That's all you have to do to stay with him. Pasternak should not be faster than Morgan Rielly. You can't have that happen consistently. This is, again, the whole idea of you can't bench Morgan Rielly, because if you bench Morgan Rielly, the other options are just as bad. And I hate, like, people are going to dog on Morgan Rielly. Who else? You're not finding anything better than Morgan Rielly right now on this blue line that's going to do, because they're also guilty of doing the same exact thing, other than maybe OEL. But, like, something has to change with that. They did a McCabe-Rielly pairing. That was just as bad.
Yeah.
Like, don't play.
Dude, like, this might be who they are, which is the sad part. Like, this might be who they are. And we're getting to that point where they say around American Thanksgiving is about enough time where you can really take a good look in the mirror and be like, this is probably what this team is, if they're still struggling to that point. And you know, it's a veteran team. It's an older team. You know, they might not have the legs that they once had, and that could be an issue in the modern day NHL. For me, the bad, like, you know, I know Anthony Stolarz, he leaves the game after the first period, but I didn't think that he had a good period at all. You know, I thought that the Hampus Lindholm goal, like, you can't let that go in. That's from 60 feet away, just kind of floated in there. Got to find a way to make that stop. And then obviously the Alex Steves goal, I don't know how.
That was my
I don't know how the hell you let that go in. Like, it's just a seeing eye shot from about 15 feet away that goes 5-hole on you. Like, get down to your butterfly, make that stop. I don't understand how the hell you let that one go in, and that makes it 3-1, and just almost like a dagger. Like, in a way, when you give up a bad goal like that, that's just it takes the sail out of the winds if you're a team here, and that one was a bad one.
And, like, he came out and he called out the team. And they talked about this on the panel last night. He calls out the team, and ever since he did that, it has not been good for Anthony Stolarz.
No, he's got like a goals against above 4 since then. Like, it's been brutal.
Like, I'm sorry. I understand. You know what they were doing? There was a lot of inexcusable things happening, and at that time he was playing well. But you got to back up what you say as well, man. You cannot be putting yourself in a position to call out your team, and then you're the one also now playing at a level that's not acceptable.
So like, it almost makes me wonder, Dave. Like, I don't think, like, I don't know if I believe this, but it's like, are they playing their hearts out for this guy? Like, we've seen it where goalies, you know, who are very beloved by their team, like, they'll play for the goalie, right? They'll play for them, and they kick it into an extra gear to block shots, to skate, to defend a little harder, make it easier for that goaltender. Like, are they not doing that as much this season for Anthony Stolarz? And after that little blow up, like, I don't know, maybe they're just not giving that extra effort because of that blow up. I couldn't tell you.
Here's the thing: if what you're saying
through my brain,
if you're somewhat implying that that's somewhat any point true, it maybe just shows how fractured this group is, and that you should be playing for each other. You should be understanding that if your teammate's calling up because he expects better from the team, and look, he's got to back up what he says. I understand that, but you can't be that. You can't be going now and saying, "Oh, okay, now you play better." Like, you can't be having that. As a group, everyone's got to come together and rally behind each other in these situations, and they haven't been doing that. Like you talk about Nylander being pissed off. That's good, but where was he being pissed off in the first period, right?
Yeah,
and things like that. So I don't know. We'll see. Like, I know we're going to talk more about the injuries and like what the repercussions and all this stuff, but like, when Hildeby came in, it wasn't much better. It wasn't much better when they played against Carolina, and the guy had to save like 7 or 8 breakaways.
Yeah,
so I'm not using the Stolarz excuse just yet, because now Hildeby has kind of in a way played a bit better because he's, he wasn't allowing those stinkers. Like, the goals that they scored on Hildeby were tough goals, right? The Pasternak wide open on the power play there, Pasternak breakaway, and was there one more? I think there was just 2, right?
2 goals.
So both those goals, tough goals, right? I don't see how he's doing much better on those ones, but like, yeah, like if I like Stolarz, you can't. You just talked about, the opportunity you're getting and all these things. He's been way below what we've expected from him. So yeah, we don't know what his situation is going forward, but he's gonna have to step up big time.
Let's dig into the injury situation from last night. The Leafs lost both Auston Matthews and Anthony Stolarz mid-game. Neither returned. What's the status of them moving forward, and what repercussions do the Maple Leafs have for these injuries? Let's dive into that next in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. The NHL is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Network. Even if you missed the start of a game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score the next goal to third-period comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Network. The Locked On Leafs podcast continues. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti, and the Maple Leafs not only lost the game 5-3 against the Bruins last night, they lost a couple of key members of their team to injury. Both Auston Matthews and Anthony Stolarz left the game and did not return. Stolarz after the first period, and then Auston Matthews early in the second period took a hit from behind from Nikita Zadorov and did not miss. Matthews, lower body injury. Stolarz upper body injury. Is that what it's upper body from?
Yeah, lower body for Matthews, upper body for Stolarz.
Yeah. Anything? Any new information on those injuries? Or
no, Matthews we'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to be cautious about that one. I didn't expect. I thought with the way he went down, it would have been upper body. I thought maybe it was like a shoulder or something with the way that he kind of went into the boards. When I saw lower body, I'm like, lower body? Like, maybe he caught himself in a way with his leg, with his knee. Hopefully it's not a groin thing. Like,
yeah.
That one is the Matthews one is a little more concerned because there wasn't anything you could see right off the hop to say, okay, looks like it's this. And I'm like, I'm not seeing it right now with him, what it could be.
I don't know either, man. And that's sometimes those are the scary injuries too, right? Like where it's like, what exactly happened? You have no idea, but like a tweak of some kind, I guess, off that hit. So hopefully there'll be more information on the injury there. But yeah, he's considered, I guess, day to day to this point. The Anthony Stolarz injury supposedly not as serious, according to Craig Berube yesterday afterwards. So perhaps Stolarz could have continued to play last night, but they opted to, since he gave up 3, they're like, you know what, let's just throw Hill to be in. So we'll see if Stolarz, I don't believe they're practicing today. Doesn't seem like they might not get on the ice. So perhaps we'll see him in a morning skate tomorrow ahead of the game against St. Louis, potentially. And even like that's a must-win game also. Like you had 2 teams who are struggling. If you can't beat the St. Louis Blues, you might as well full up the season.
Well,
man.
and like their next game on Thursday is against the Kings, who
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of
you're looking at next week.
Sorry.
But
Next
like,
week.
you got the Kings, who are the best road team. And I remember
Yeah.
last year, or was it last year, 2 years ago, when the Kings were on the road? They're one of the best road teams. They absolutely pumped the Leafs, and the Kings they just pumped Montreal pretty good, and like Montreal's had a pretty good year so far. So that's like they've like, that's gonna be a tough. The Kings always play the Leafs tough at home too.
Yep.
Like that's a game there where maybe it galvanizes you a little bit, but like their next 3 games, you got the Kings doing pretty good. You got the Blackhawks, who are still a team that are still trying to figure things out a bit, but Connor Bedard has been absolutely
the Bedsy breakouts here, like that.
yeah,
kid,
like you're going up against one of the top goal scorers in the league, and then you got next week you got the Blues. And the last time you played the Blues in St. Like you've had really hard times against St. Louis. In like the first game back for Craig Berube, you were just absolutely god awful. So like they don't look like terrible matchups on paper, but no matchup looks good for the Leafs right now, just with the way they're playing.
No, you're right, man. Like it's nothing looks good. Nothing's looking good for.
And there's no immediate. Like you got Scott Lund, we don't know his status, whether he's going to be able to come back.
Joseph Wall coming back would be nice, and maybe that gives you a bit of a jolt. Like you've got a capable goaltender coming in outside of Stolarz, a very likable guy who is very calm in the net.
Maybe that gives this team a bit of a hopefully that gives the team a little bit of a okay, Joe's back. Maybe it makes it feel a little bit better, but like you're kind of hoping. I mean, if Matthews is not able to play on Thursday, guys who are this is an opportunity to kind of rethink, especially the bottom 6, right? The bottom 6 hasn't really looked great. Maybe you need to break up things there and have guys move into different spots and try something different because
I'll say this is a team that when their backs up against their wall, their backs are up against the wall and everyone doubts them, they've usually come through. Over the past few years, they've usually come through, right? So like that game last night against Boston is one that they usually win. Like, let's be honest here, where the doubt starts to creep in, then all of a sudden, bang, they turn things around. This game against the Kings, it seems like everyone's starting to doubt them. Like FanDuel will have them as underdogs at home. And that is a game that typically they find a way to win. So for me, it's like, okay, if you want to show me signs that you can turn it around and that this season is still somewhat salvageable, I still think you got to win that game against LA. I know it's a tough team and it's a tough opponent and they travel well, but like at least what I saw last year and I've seen over the last few years that when things get tough, even if they're missing guys, like how many times has Auston Matthews gone out of the lineup and it's like, man, the team's got to kind of, bandy together and get it done. And they've gone into Edmonton without Matthews and won the game, right? Where everyone's like, man, they're going to be screwed this road trip. They're without Morgan Riley. They're without Chris Tanev. That defense is going to just fall apart. And they rattle off 4 or 5 wins in his absence. You know what I mean? So can they step up in in times where adversity hits. In the past, they have, and that's kind of been a calling card, and that's been a positive for this team, is that they have been able to rally behind whether it's missing players or poor play and kind of get out of a funk. Can they show this week that they can do that? Because everyone's starting to dude. I've already seen people posting pictures of Gavin McKenna all over my timeline. Like, people are ready to tank for McKenna. Keep in mind, the Maple Leafs, they don't have their first round pick.
It is lottery protected. It is top 5 protected.
Yeah, so, it's top 5 protected. So for the Maple Leafs, I mean, if you're tanking, you gotta tank because you gotta finish in the bottom 5 to keep that pick. First of all,
yeah, and we already know. Like, are you going to take that chance? I mean, look, it's I don't know how the draft. I haven't really looked outside of Gavin McKenna.
No, the answer is no. You don't take that chance. You have to compete this year.
No, you're like I'm like I don't understand. I get it. They have not looked good, but we're not 40 games into the season. There are games to figure this out. Now, the thing they can't be doing is saying, "Oh, we got to make a trade." Like, we talked about making a trade. I don't have much to trade right now either. That's the other problem. And I'm not in favor of constantly trading picks to this point. You've got to find it's all about finding an internal improvement. And I do think it comes with guys playing to their potential better. It's one thing if they've been doing that, they haven't been playing up to snuff. And that's where I still think that things can change, things can turn around, because as bad as it's been, look at how the games haven't been absolute blowouts where they lose like 5-1, 4-1. Like, they're losing, 5-3. They were, at 4-3 for a good point of that game against Boston. They were winning against Carolina, and when they kind of fell apart there, they were close against Boston. Like, they're still in these games, and maybe that's the only solace you can take, is that it's not. They haven't completely let the games get away from them, other than that Columbus one and the Buffalo one. But they have been somewhat in these games so that they can, if you start playing a little bit better, that maybe those results will start to turn around for you a little bit.
Yeah, you would hope, man, because if it doesn't turn around quick, like I said, the barometer typically for finding out where your team is at, right, where there's enough of a sample size, is American Thanksgiving. It'll be 2 weeks to American Thanksgiving tomorrow. Yep. 2 weeks till we're there. So they've got 2 more weeks to turn things around here, or else, man, it could be a very ugly season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll see. We'll see what they got. All right. That'll do it for us here today in the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. We'll be back with another episode for you guys tomorrow. Until then, keep locked right here on Locked On Leafs.